Hi everyone. So today we are here again with Bumps and Blooms and then Caridad, our doula, our space holder, and we have Dr. Agha here again. Welcome. And then today our very special esteemed guest, Barbara Harper, that's been in the doing what you do now for how many years, Barbara?
I've been working in the medical field for over 50 years. I know I don't look that old. But I've been educating about waterbirth for over 40 years.
40 years. Yeah. So welcome. I heard that you just came from New York.
Thank you. I live near Miami in Florida.
Yeah.
And yes, I had a nonstop flight from New York to Dubai. They just started that 2 years ago, that nonstop. I'm very happy about that.
Yeah. So welcome to Dubai in the cooler weather, right? So today we have a very interesting topic because fear is something that I think we all experience. And when I looked up the definition of fear, it's a normal emotional response that we all have. And it's something that we perceive when there's a threat or danger. And it's something that we can't always control. It's something that gets triggered. And it's like an internal mechanism that kicks in. And it's there to protect us. Now, when we think about childbirth, it's a very interesting topic because as a mom myself going through birth, I was extremely fearful. And I think by being fearful, it actually allowed me to give it over. I wanted to just pass it on. So my question, Caridad, I'm going to start with you. What is your definition of fear and how does it relate to on the emotional side to being a mom, being pregnant and then going to give birth?
Wow, fear. I think for me, fear is the lack of knowing. Mm-hmm. It's the not understanding of what's coming the way. And it's just, like you said, it's just a response. Okay.
Well, the way I define fear is the anticipation of danger or terror, mm-hmm. and the feeling that I can't handle it. And so it's when we talk about fear of childbirth, oh my gosh, I collect articles, and I have hundreds of articles where it's studied that if we mitigate the fear, if we deal with the fear, but people are coming at it at the wrong point, mostly. Yeah. There's even a medical term for fear, which is tocology. Mm-hmm. And so we know it, we've studied it, but we don't do anything about it. We don't do anything to help a woman through the process of addressing those anticipations, and that's what I'd like to address.
Yeah, which is why most of my work as a doula, what we do is we come into the sessions, and I always say my goal at the birth is to keep you present, to keep you mindful, to keep you in that moment. Not to worry about what the stories were before or that anticipatory fear. We always talk about what's going to come next. If I'm here at 4 centimeters, what's it going to be like at 7, at 8, 9? I'm like, it's not linear. That's not what it is. Let's focus on this moment, the present moment, so that we can work with what we have and find the relief in this present moment. So my job is to keep them grounded, mindful with the breathing, the visualization, whatever it is.
And it does serve a purpose. Fear serves a purpose to help us avoid trauma, to help us, but not necessarily in birth, because we're prepared to run away or to fight, but women in particularly feign, which is a state of bargaining. I promise I'll be a good girl. I'll do everything you tell me to do.
Yeah.
And then we still walk away with trauma because we don't address the root cause of it.
So how we handle fear as a child, right? Does that impact as an adult how we might relate to fear as being a woman going through pregnancy?
Well, Carrie, you said information.
Yeah.
Information, but also people today talk about trauma-informed childbirth. And for me, if we live on this planet, we have experienced trauma. I don't care where it comes from. There's a book that was published, I think, about 20 years ago called When Survivors Give Birth. And it was very specific about women who survive sexual trauma, either in childhood or their teen years or in their early development. And it was a good introduction, but all of us have trauma. We're all survivors. If we live on the planet today, we've survived something. And so what I like to look at with women is, what are your coping strategies? What makes you feel good? And if we can, in the birth experience, help a woman, as you said, stay calm, centered, curious. I call it my list of 12 C words in English. Curious, compassionate for yourself. All of those things help you stay in your parasympathetic nervous system. And the sympathetic nervous system, birth is being done to you. It's everything from outside. You have no control. You're a victim, so to speak. And in the parasympathetic nervous system, birth is being done through you. You're in control. You're making the decisions. You're responding to your body. And my second definition of fear is false evidence appearing real.
Okay.
So FEAR, false evidence appearing real. So you get it in your mind that somebody's out to get you, or, and that's your sympathetic nervous system, your trauma working through you. So what coping strategies did you develop as a child, as an adult? How do you deal with scary situations? And that's what we need to focus on in preparation, is help women feel good about themselves, help women understand that the process of childbirth is no different than having an orgasm, than going to the bathroom. It's an autonomic process that involves sensitivity and letting go. And I've seen hundreds and thousands of women give birth by releasing the baby, not fighting it, not having birth done to them, but having the baby come through them.
Yeah, it's that surrender. And that's why it's so key when we do the preparation. We say, just so you know, when you have that fear, all it's going to do is increase the tension. So one of the first things I do in my very first session, we write down every single fear, even if they think it's a small one, even if it's something like, I don't think I'm going to be a good mother. I'm like, okay, fine, let's rewrite it into positive affirmation. I have all the resources and I have all the information that I need to nurture and protect my child. So whenever that fear comes up, we reprogram our brain so that we can reprogram it with that positive affirmation, and that's how we can kind of change our subconscious a bit.
Remember in that definition that fear is an anticipation of something you can't handle.
Yeah.
And so if you look at it from that perspective, the preparation is going to be a sorting through the things that you think you can't handle. And then we reverse the fear. We make statements, but you also have to
believe them.
Well,
eventually.
you have to believe it to be able to achieve it. But I always say what the mind can conceive and believe and allow, you can achieve. And so it isn't just about writing down affirmations and repeating them. It's about rehearsing positive things, because we tend to rehearse those things that we're most afraid of.
Of course.
Like what happens if a saber-toothed tiger runs into the room? You know, what are we going to do? There's always a backup plan. And birth is a little bit different. Birth is, we have to help women see not only that birth is part of our reproductive system, and it can happen all by itself, but we have to escort her through creating new coping mechanisms, new relaxation, because you said fear creates tension.
That increases the
and
pain
tension
perception.
results in pain. So how do we help a woman relax and surrender to the energy that's moving through her body in order to release and open to let the baby out?
I always say the brain's not that smart.
Yeah.
It just processes the information you're sending to it. So what gives you pleasure? Let's focus on the pleasure. And that's why I say it's so important the birth plan for me is not the doctor, the medical team. It's what's going to create pleasure for me in my senses, in my touch, in my feel, in that moment, so that we can focus on that and then send all that information to the brain. The brain's like, wow, this is a really good day. I feel joyful. This feels amazing to me. And I always say I birthed 6 times and I never felt pain. I never felt stress. I never felt the fear. I felt nothing but euphoria. And it was pleasure the whole entire time. It was intense, but it was euphoria, and it was pure connection with my body and with what I was going through.
Those two words don't always go together,
Exactly.
pleasure and birth.
But it can be pleasurable, and we know it. We've seen it.
Orgasmic and birth.
Yeah.
But I have to say, Barbara, just listening to you, the words that you just used by using energy instead of pain, how that can help a person to visualize, that my body is releasing energy to get this baby out and not pain.
What we do to mitigate this fear can either increase the fear or reduce it.
Yeah.
What we do in any situation. And so by, changing the language sometimes, but calling it energy that's moving through you and being there to support her, like Carrie described. And I think that's what Dr. Agha has witnessed, that the water does. The woman gets into the water, and I call it the effect. She can suddenly let go of any tension that's in her body because she can float, she's supported, and the water gives her new energy to release and let go, to surrender.
And permission to go inward instead of this external
If everything, like I said, a woman who is in her sympathetic nervous system is looking outside of herself for what's coming to her, and birth is being done to her. People are telling her what to do and how to do it. If she can move inward and see the process of transformation, of even experiencing the feelings, if she can cry, if she can laugh, if she can embody the true transformational spirit of what's happening to welcome this new human being. Her biggest love interest for all of her life is coming through her. Yes, women can be married to the same person for 80 years, but there's nothing more sacred than this child that's coming into the world, to be with her for as long as she lives.
Yeah. No, definitely. Dr. Agha, can I maybe ask you, how do you experience, if a person experiences fear, how does that impact the birth?
So good afternoon. Thank you so much for being here with the amazing group of people. So fear, what we need to know is that it starts in the mind, but ends in the body. So at first it's psychological, but then it will be physical then at the end. Because there is this cycle of progression of fear, tension, and then pain. And you pointed to it. So it's when the body feels the fear, this is kind of alarming thing for the body, and the body senses that there is a danger, can be critical, life-threatening, so I need to protect the body. So that's a kind of an inherent reflex in the body. And then the body will be just switching on the alarm status in the inside. And that's the sympathetic system that will come here, and that's what we call the fight or flight. Now we are alert. I'm either going to fight or I'm going to run away if I can't deal with this situation. And the body will work according to that. So, and the sympathetic system or the stress hormones and all these things will prepare the body for either running away by supplying the muscles and making the brain more alert by shifting the blood to there. And these will be considered like the more essential or critical organs.
Yeah.
The other organs, including the uterus, will be less important now because we are dealing with more alarming things. Like one kind of a state announcing a martial law. We are leaving the routine things behind or aside, and we are focusing on the more critical thing because it's a critical situation here. It's an emergency situation. Yeah. So we have to focus on this thing. And when this starts happening, then as mentioned again, the labor is quite completely opposite to this process. The kind of hormones that's going on, the body system that's controlling it is completely against this process. So there'll be fighting between these two things. And the more fear we have, then the more it's going to fight the process of labor. And then it will be more painful, slower, less productive, less organizing, because there is another element that's trying to fight it or stop it. It's not the time of labor now. Yeah. We're focusing on the fear. We are focusing on that danger. We have to fight it. So that's what's happening. So, and we need to know that that's the amazing thing in our creatures, that the human body is based on the balance between agonizing things and opposite things. So we have relaxation, we have the tension or contraction, we have the sympathetic, we have the parasympathetic. And the ultimate outcome of you, physically, mentally, emotionally, everything, is based on the outcome of this balance. Where this balance lies, then this is you. All right? So if we have this kind of fight and relaxation kind of fight, then you are not going to achieve anything. The labor is not going anywhere because there is something blocking it. All right, so we need to reduce that fear to permit the way for the labor to proceed, because it's completely different, opposite ways. They don't go one by one. So you need to allow one thing to go, either the fight or the critical alarm to go away or to pass, or is the labor that should go in the other way.
Yeah. Because what the mind thinks, the body responds.
Yeah,
exactly.
And what you just described, Dr. Agha, was exactly what we see in the labor room. What we see, that blood flow goes to other parts, and then reproduction stops. And so, and in the hospital, that's when the interventions come, because we think labor has to go in a certain time-sensitive direction. And sometimes all you need to do is take a break, take a bath, take a walk.
Oh, wow.
Remember coping strategies. So if you're fearful, what can we do to substitute the fear for pleasure, substitute the pain for something that makes us feel good? And this is what I train doctors to do. Holding a hand, making eye contact, helping this person see that what's happening in their body is normal. What's happening, listening to the baby, helping her connect to the baby. Like, put your hands on your belly, take a deep breath, and talk to the baby. Take the baby in your mind for a walk to the most beautiful place you've ever been. And if you do that, she forgets to pay attention to the tension. She forgets to pay attention to that energy that's moving through her body. And it's not leaving, it's not going out of body, but she's focusing her attention on pleasure. And that's one of our biggest goals for everything that I teach. Focus your attention on pleasure.
You can see why it's so important for this education, because if one person on the team doesn't understand this process, the constant interruption, the constant fear-inducing questions, or like just one comment, because we say moms are such sponges during this moment, just one comment that may awaken that fear again. And it's usually brought on by an external person, which is why her education coming in telling the doctors, the nurses, the midwives, your job is to be a professional what? You say inactivity, right? It's that inactivity that's so important. It's just let the mom be and tap into her body.
Yeah, I joke about it in the sense of you must learn to be a masterful
Masterly inactivity.
master of inactivity, masterful understanding of doing nothing. But still be present and be close enough to this process to observe it without being close enough to disturb it.
Yeah, our goal as support is the comfort, the security, the protecting the space and the environment, and that's it. It's not another interruption and bringing your own stories there, which is it's so important.
I have sat in a birth room
Sewing,
and watched a woman breathe her baby out. No efforts, no response to the energy that's moving through her body, even as her as the baby starts crowning and the head is born, not responding to it, letting the baby do all the work. And this is a misconception also, that you have to be very vigilant and it's a struggle to get the baby out. And when I teach this, like I call it rethinking second stage, which is the actual birth of the baby. And I said, it's one letter difference. The difference between my responsibility to get the baby out is taken over by her responsibility to let the baby out. So what can I do to support her to relax so much that she lets the baby out?
Oh, well,
So that is
exactly, yeah.
to many physicians, many doctors. They accuse me of frying their brains.
Because the medical system is there's a lot of intervention, right?
It's about doing something.
Yes.
It's about getting a result, getting the baby out.
Yeah.
So many doctors and midwives use that term. It's my responsibility to deliver the baby and assure a happy mother and a healthy baby. And the baby becomes the prize. You know, here's your prize. And when it's just the opposite, it's about protecting the space. And we have this term called holding the space. Holding the space is being close enough to observe without expectation and without judgment. And that's one of the most difficult things to teach and to do in a birth situation, because you yourself, as the provider, are filled with anticipation and you have fear that something bad is going to happen to the baby on this journey, and you're going to be held responsible.
Yeah.
I conduct retreats around the world. 3 days, 5 days, 6 days. The longest one I've ever done was 8 days with 45 doctors. 45 doctors come in, and 8 days later they walk out and go,
What just happened?
I was just talking to one of those doctors last night by text on WhatsApp in Mexico. And he got it. He understood it. It takes that kind of brainwashing. And I take that term lightly because you are washing yourself from your own fears, your own coping strategies, your own false evidence that appears real. One blip on the monitor. A doctor from India talked to me last week, and she said, "Oh, I'm so sorry, Barbara. The baby's heartbeat dropped for 2 contractions, and I just immediately took her for a cesarean." And I teach, wait 3 contractions, but do something. Have her change positions. Give her something to eat or drink. And ask her what she's thinking, because the baby's blood flow is tied directly to her thoughts, feelings, and behavior. How the baby responds is in accordance to what she's thinking or fearing. So just like you said, Dr. Agha, you get to that point and the baby responds, and her body responds. What the mind thinks, the body responds. What the mind thinks, the baby responds. And so I ask women in the throes of labor to tell me what they're thinking. And this is what comes out. I can't do it. It hurts too much. I'm not ready to be a mother. I'm afraid my husband won't love me the same way. I've heard it all. I've heard every fear in the book. Even one mother was afraid snakes would get into the crib. And some fears are rational, and some fears are totally irrational, kind of based on what our coping strategies are. So how do we get from point A to point B? We have to be present. We have to be non-judgmental. We have to listen carefully, observe wisely, and do things to help her feel at ease. The more she can relax, the easier the trip is for the baby. And if we can put her at ease, you talked about the sensory system. The first thing is, what's the mind doing? That's the first level. Second level is, what are my senses taking in? What's the lighting in the room? What are the smells that I'm smelling? What does it feel like to touch the bed sheets or the pillows, somebody's hand? You have to think about all of our senses, because birth is a sensory activity. And then the third level is, what can I do to increase her comfort? What can I do to increase her relaxation? Can I do a massage? Can I do Reiki? There's 100 things. I've written a list of 100 things to make women feel comfortable in birth. And we don't teach any of those in nursing school, medical school, or midwifery school. None of them are taught. No, it's all about getting the baby out.
And I see what happens when a doctor or a midwife or nurse learns these and sees and witnesses it. It changes their whole life, not just how they practice at birth, the whole life.
Tell us how. Tell us
so
how
the way that they
your life.
treat everybody, their own children, their own family, their friends, their life. They can just that anticipatory fear. You can erase that.
Do you know what the after effect of a very positive birth experience is that woman looks at you and looks at her children and is so filled with life that she says, I can do anything now.
Anything.
So many of my clients
Shave their head and get pink hair. It's weird.
and their partners who go through the classes with me, their partners, their business take off.
Yeah.
They make money. They're just fantastic parents because they broke the cycle of having to live endlessly, generation after generation, with birth trauma. It's up to each individual to say, I'm not sure how I got to this place, but this is how I want to go forward in the future.
Because when we train doulas and stuff now, I always tell them it's hypocritical for you to live in this fear, tension, pain cycle all the time, anticipating the fear and reacting and not working on it, and then try to teach a mom not to do that at birth. So you have to learn to do it for yourself in all aspects of life.
I just finished a 6-week teaching tour in South America. I was in 4 countries, 7 cities. I gave 10 workshops, and that was the common questions, like, how do I do this? How do I change? Because I didn't learn any of this in medical or midwifery school. And so you have to read my book. You have to you have to take it upon yourself. And there's so many people today that are teaching seminars and assisting with the work. I said you have to do the work on yourself. You have to remember why you came here, and that this isn't about delivering babies. It's about feeling whole and complete, and returning to humanity. When someone can find their own humanity, then they give it to everybody else.
Yeah. No, and I think it's beautifully put, Barbara. I think it is something that society needs, and moms need this. And it's healing, I think, on a different level because it impacts everyone. It impacts the mom, even back to the doulas, as you said. The doula needs to heal to be able to get the mom through this process. So it's actually a healing process for everyone.
It's all about healing.
Yeah. I've got a question for Dr. Agha. Coming from a more medical field, of course, Doctor, you've been an obstetrician and gynecologist for a long time. And the responsibility is, in the end, on your shoulders. And that's a big responsibility. If you listen to all this, how do you bridge all this?
Yeah, the problem is we may look like the other side, the bad guy. No, but yes. So on the so all these things are well appreciated and understood, but to be on the so for the defense of doctors or the medical, let's say, community, we have been put into this situation. Is that medical profession in general is what they call regulated profession.
Yeah, 100%.
So it works according to certain rules or guidelines or whatever, and structure. And there is the anticipation, there is the action, there is the outcome, there is what you do, what you're expecting. You do it in the right way, in the wrong way. So there are rules for everything.
Yeah.
It's like when you... I always love talking to British people about the cricket. I know nothing about it, but everybody loves it. And they say it's the most complicated thing on earth, even it's more complicated than law. So they have big books about it. I don't know if that's real or not, but it's a very complicated thing. But they love it so much. So and you have to do it by that law.
Yeah.
Right? we are not allowed, doctors are not allowed, or the entire medical team or community, they are not allowed to do things by their own. Just I feel this is a nice thing, this looks nice, this is sound nice, or whatever, I would do it in this way. No, we are committed to do things in a certain way. Now, that doesn't mean whatever we are doing, or the structure that I'm talking about, is perfect.
Yeah.
So we have, we base all our actions and practice on evidence. And evidence, that means is the studies some people do on populations, different populations and things. And we have different standards for the evidence coming out from this thing. Not all of them are perfect. And many of them are limited. Many of them are conflicting. We can't get definite conclusions from all studies about any points or whatever. Many things are conflicting or very limited. Or it's not ethical to do a study on them. So we cannot study them.
Yeah.
It's not ethical to put people in that situation to get that outcome. So there are many issues around this evidence, but that's what we have, and that's what we are just judged against. All right. Now the job, how it comes, is that I think if we want to do something about that, first is the more we understand the other side, and the more we feel comfortable and confident in what we are doing, so that we can match both together.
Yeah.
Because that's the problem. Whatever I talked about, and the situation, the branching situation that's coming from, is the medical legal issues, and that's the other people who are benefiting from all these things. Is the other side. We need to satisfy them, and that went a little bit far away. That people working at lower thresholds just in case bad things don't happen.
Yeah.
And that's the problem now. Really, many things are really exaggerated a bit, because I don't want to get in that situation. So they are working a more step ahead of things, and instead of waiting for really. So even if we stick to the rules, Barbara here and Caridad will be much happier than that. That's fine. Still, we have rules, but we can loosen them because they are not that strict. People with time and with the fear of in the medical community, they turn to kind of more anxious, more worried. They want to be more precautious. They want to be, let's say, more in control of things, so that there's no chance for things, any wrong things to happen. So they took it to a different level. So we just need to little bit go down, but that needs to come with confidence, with support.
Yeah.
Support will come either from the medical field itself and the health structure, or come from the society. And that's the other important thing. Many things that we are talking about, the home births or water births and making change. So we had many talks about implementing things here in Dubai, because many of these things are not yet established in Dubai, but you can find it elsewhere. These should come from society. All right. So the women's society, or whoever representing women or laboring women, they need to speak up and voice up, saying, we know that doing these things in this way is still safe and it's fine, and we are happy with it. So we need to make a change, and then that will influence the other societies, and they will make the change. Because if this change is not happening, even the expectations, not only from the medical community side, is even the public expectation is that I'm going to hospital, I'm doing this and that, and this is the outcome, and that's what I'm expecting from you. If this is not happening, it means that you're doing something wrong. So the expectations should come from both sides.
Yeah.
All right, from the community, public, and from the medical side as well. Yeah.
Starting in 2007, I realized that it was obvious that most births in the United States happen in hospitals. And so my organization, Waterbirth International, developed a curriculum to teach in hospitals that would result in doctors being certified in waterbirth practice. And birthing the baby in the water is never the goal. It's a wonderful consequence when a woman feels seen, heard, relaxed, at peace in her mind, and without a lot of fear. And so we did start issuing certificates globally for doctors all over the world, and waterbirth is able to be that combination of high touch and high tech. In a hospital environment, it can be easily integrated and give women exactly what they want of that being able to let the baby out.
Yeah.
And so that was a realization. And today I've had over 30,000 doctors and midwives go through the courses of waterbirth certification and credentialing that gives us waterbirth in over 120 countries around the world in hospitals. And so that's why I came to Dubai the first time, and that's why I'm here today, is to work in a hospital to get everyone up to speed. What they do with it after I leave is up to the individual practitioner, and that's why I love that we have this kind of support of the doctors with taking the women that go through the prenatal classes who understand the benefits of all of this and understand that they want birth being done through them. And doctors like Dr. Agha see it, live it, evaluate it, and read the literature, because today, in the end of 2025, we have over 700 articles and peer review publications that testify to the power and effect of using water for labor and birth. And one of the biggest studies that was done, like you said, sometimes we can't randomize and control in certain aspects, but in other places we can. And one of the biggest studies was a combination of prospective and retrospective analysis of over 60,000 women in the NHS system in the UK. There was just 26 hospitals, 60,000 women using water for labor, and over 40,000 using it for birth as well. And the results were incredible, exactly what we see, that there were no bad effects for mothers or babies in any instance. And it was proven to be beneficial with babies doing much better than women who gave birth in other ways other than the water as well. And so that research is continuing, and I saw the absolute necessity that we prove that it's safe. And that's how we've ended up with Faqih University Hospital offering those services. And other hospitals around Dubai have offered them, but it takes premier doctors like Dr. Agha who say, let's see how it goes. And you get enough proof and you see it over and over again, then you're going to even out those regulations so that the outcomes look good. You're not going to take a risk with somebody's life,
of course,
by doing this. And he can tell you some of the miraculous stories of babies that have been born in the water and how those mothers are